Hello, my name is David Ray. I'm here to review the Prairie Improv Federation shows, and in this case, in particular, it is Chucklemania. This is a fantastic show, and we're going to go through all the major events. There are three major storylines that kind of go throughout all of this. One is between Big Daddy Dalton and Gunny Mountain, this father-son relationship that is put to the test as they are going to be put in a match against each other. As well, this is also the night that Svetlana faces her reckoning. Svetlana has been using guns on stage, and Winston, the commissioner of the league, has said that put her in a match, and if she loses this match against the Saturday morning cartoon boy, she is kicked out of PIF. I mean, once again, he could have still just called the police on her, but whatever. Finally, the other big story of the night is between PIF Royale, the champion, the intergalactic improv champion, putting their title on the line against Trudell, the one who lost it last month, and who is in a terrible state. Will Trudell be able to win it back, or will Pierce be able to hold on to it? Well, we'll find out. The show kicks off with Winston Typhoon interviewing the three competitors of a triple threat match that's going to be happening later on in the evening. In this case, it is Gunny Mountain, as well as his fatherly figure, Big Daddy Dalton, and newcomer Christina Lipstick. And you can tell that Winston is a little uncomfortable with Christina being there because she has essentially harassed him into allowing her to join the Federation. And you can kind of see that I do not know how to take her entering the Federation, especially with her response to what makes a great scene.
Oh, the story! And oh, if it can be a romantic story, that's the best. I love romance, and it should end with a kiss.
Every scene should end with
Every scene should end with a kiss.
Alongside other questions, probably the most important question that Winston asked of Gunny Mountain and Big Daddy was in regards to their relationship. The two of them have been hanging out for the last few months, and Winston asked him, is it going to be an issue for their relationship? Will they get too competitive in this #1 contenders match? Will that cause any kind of break in the relationship? And you can see, based on the reactions, they have that #1 contender spot as their big goal.
I mean, I love my boys.
Yeah, I love you.
Winston decided to test the relationship between Big Daddy and Gunny Mountain by putting them in a tag team match against Trudell and the current champion, PIF Royale. And this is significant because those two have been in a rivalry, PIF and Trudell, and have not been getting along, but they're forced to be together in this match. And throughout the match you can see that the relationship between Gunny and Big Daddy have allowed them to really work well together.
It's our anniversary.
I'm using a butter knife to cut asparagus.
You know I'm scared of the other ones.
It should also be noted that Trudell is clearly distraught from her loss last month of the championship belt to Pierce. She clearly saw that belt as a form of validation for her abilities as an actress, and it affects her in the match. It is actually leading to the point that Gunny and Big Daddy are going to win up until the moment that Svetlana Chekhov comes from the back and hands Trudell a gun to use in the scene. Of course, fortunately, in a certain kind of a way, Trudell is out of sorts, and instead of using it, she is easily disarmed by Winston, and the match ends in a no contest. We go backstage with Gunny, and he is justifiably upset at Svetlana because of her actions have led to once again a gun being pointed at at him. And he demands to know why. But it turns out that this was a part of Svetlana's plan all along. She threatens Gunny.
Gunny, if you don't help me in match against Good Morning Cereal Boy, I will kill you.
Like to death?
We go to the main stage now to see the triple threat match for that #1 contender spot. And it is a fantastic competition, a lot of fun. It is, in it, Gunny plays a character of high status, controlling the scene throughout it as he is the one that owns this hot tub, and he is being fed by his servant, played by Big Daddy, and that leads to this wonderful exchange.
You know what this calls for? The perfect time for you to feed me.
That's right. Baby bird style, correct?
That's right.
I need a justification why you feed like that.
Daddy's got digestion problems.
Yes, and soft teeth.
Now throughout this match, Big Daddy was playing a lower status character, but as he was doing these things and having these conversations, it was slowly turning the status so that he was at a higher status than Christina's character. And that's huge. That status change is a major in improv matches. So Christina, in order to rally herself back into the match, decided to also try to feed Gunny bird style, and then this happened.
Oh, you started kidding! That's it!
It's in that moment that Christina lost the match for herself. In fact, it brought an end to the match in general, and it was left up to Winston to decide that because the status change was with Big Daddy, that Big Daddy deserved the win. And it was a huge upset. Big Daddy has not had a lot of wins in this, in the Prairie Improv Federation, but now he has an opportunity. The thing is, you can tell that it soured the relationship between Big Daddy and Gunny.
One more time for Big Daddy Golden.
Now it's time for Svetlana Chekhov's career-threatening match. If she loses this match against the Saturday morning cartoon boy, she is fired from PIF. And the match itself is great. It's hard to know where it's going to go. The two of them are both so funny, keeping the energy up, adding new ideas. There's twists all the way through. And it actually shows that Svetlana is quite capable of doing great improv without having to rely upon the innate status of having a gun. And things, I actually had no idea which way this would go until Gunny comes out on stage. He has a literal shovel with him, and instead of interfering on Svetlana's behalf, he actually goes and attacks her. And she winds up taking out a gun and shooting Gunny. Gunny doesn't even realize it at first that he's been shot, and he goes down, and he thought you once again saw a murder, but turns out it was a fake gun this time, thank goodness. You never want to see someone actually murdered on stage at PIF. It turns out it was fake, but this should be the elimination of Svetlana. The fact that she pulled out a gun, that is never allowed. She should be eliminated from it. However, this is the call that Winston gives.
Unfortunately, due to the rules of Prairie Improv Federation, Gunny did interrupt the match, and interrupted it on your behalf. That means technically Svetlana wins this match.
I mean, following the rules of PIF is good, I guess. That's a good call in that regard. Still, the fact that Svetlana was able to escape being fired from the Prairie Improv Federation, it astounds me. But I guess she was able to find a way through it. so I guess good for her. Hopefully it doesn't lead to Gunny being actually shot later on for the fact that he tried to betray her. We'll have to see in the future, I guess. Now it's time for that championship match for the Intergalactic Improv Championship. However, Winston has some reluctance of allowing Trudell to perform. She seems so out of it. But he tests her by getting her to do various impersonations, and it's clear that she's very capable. However, Christina Lipstick decides to show up and offer this suggestion.
Whoa, give me a sordid lover who doesn't want to get caught in the passion.
Oh, you're the one. You're the fun one.
Now, it turns out that Christina has been sending Trudell's hair back to her. Now, you'd think that would be a thing that would make Trudell try to reject Christina, but it does not. She also doesn't, succumb and try to give Christina a kiss like Christina wants, but instead says this.
I won't kiss. For if you give away the kiss, the mailing of the hair stops. I know how love works.
What does this mean for in the future? I don't know, but it's unsettling nonetheless. But let's get to that match. Pierce comes out, and before the start of the actual match, we hear the music of Pennywise Varscona, who is the superstar who owns all of the theaters in Edmonton except for the Grindstone Theater, and it turns out he's been financially backing Pierce, and so this must be obviously a part of his plan to try to get the Grindstone or something. I don't actually know how the legal side of that works, but this is nonetheless who he's been backing.
Pierce Royale? Yeah! You're their manager? Yeah!
The championship match is about Trudell playing this writer and in her interactions with her editor, played by Pierce. And the two have a fantastic back and forth. Pierce has a lot of great one-liners, but what is evident is Trudell is able to touch into an emotional core, and it ends with this very sweet embrace. And it's because of this that Winston gives the win to Trudell. Trudell wins that belt back. And she celebrates in the ring, saying this very kind of ominous kind of words at the end.
I'm sorry for getting the glare in your eyes. But I'm also so happy. I'm back on top now. You can never pull me down from this pedestal you've put me on. I am the queen of improv. Everyone will remember my name.
And that was Chucklemania. The Trudell, who was in this underdog position, comes back and wins the championship. And in the future, she will have to take on Big Daddy Dalton. It's going to be fantastic. I don't know what's going to be happening at this next show, which is going to be Funny in the Bank. It's going to be happening at the Grindstone Theater on Saturday, May 25th at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. They are actually going to be... There's a fun stipulation match called the Funny in the Bank briefcase match, and you do not want to miss that. And try to check it out live. It is so much fun to see these superstars live. Even though you can watch all of these videos on YouTube, the full length of the episodes, or you can watch me do these shortened versions, it's so much better live. So with that, I'll see you again next time. Thank you ever so much for watching this PIF Playback. If you want to keep up with more episodes of the Prairie Improv Federation, you can see full episodes on our YouTube page. Or if you want to keep up with future Sorry Not Sorry production shows, you can go to SNSYEG on Twitter and Instagram, or to our Facebook page, Sorry Not Sorry Productions. If you want to get tickets to one of our live shows, you can go to grindstonetheater.ca and you can pick up tickets there for our shows that happen every Saturday night at 7 p.m. And we have a wide variety. Sometimes it's PIF, sometimes it's YEG D&D, sometimes it's something else fantastic and new.